That is something I did want to ask about because I was watching Death Block and I was really impressed at the scale of it for the budget, especially.
Yeah.
Um, like when it comes to doing, like lower budget, like action movies, what were some of the stumbling blocks? What I mean, I've directed a ton of movies, but I've never done any kind of action on anything close to that scale. So like, it's hard for me to even imagine how you pulled some of that off.
Well, like I said, I would drive by that prison and go, "What? I should do an escape movie there." So one of the things I did is I knew the people that ran the prison, and I said, "Hey, if you guys need, I want to get some shoot days here." Well, other movies have come in, and it costs a lot of money to shoot there. So I did a trade with them. I did a bunch of graphics and billboards because they run a haunt there every year. So I did a bunch of graphics and trailers for their haunts, and I shot them like a 45-minute training video. So I did a trade. I said, look, I don't have a lot of money, but I need 6-7 days. So I'm like, all right, I'll do this work for you. If you can give me this for this rate, I can do this work for you. So for 2 years running up to the movie, I was doing work for them. So again, it's that whole thing of like, what can you do? What skill do you have? Can you cut the lawn? If you can cut the
Mm,
guy's lawn, he might let you use the barn to shoot it. So I always take that approach of like, how do I get that? How can I get that in the movie? Because you got to find the scope, right? Um, we don't get to come out next to like Red Notice or these other big movies and say, um, give us a pass because we're low budget. Audiences don't care, right? So you've got to like, if you're saying you're doing a prison escape movie and your poster shows that and your trailer shows that and you don't deliver it, you're cheating the audience. So my goal is always the audience gets a bigger movie than what the trailer or the poster shows. We're showing all the cool stuff, but it's got to be bigger, because you don't want to go, oh, all the great stuff's in the trailer. That's all they had. So it's really about finding the elements of like, what can make this big and special? Well, I had the prison, it's $1 million sets. The problem is because I didn't pay enough money, I had to work around the tours, and the tours ended at 4 in the afternoon. So I couldn't start shooting till after 4, and I would shoot from 4 in the afternoon to 4 in the morning. So now that puts the burden on us to work the crew split day and into night
mm.
and shift from day to night, night to day, move the lights. So it made it a ton harder to do. So yes, the blessing is I got those sets, but it was going to be tougher for me to shoot in them. So I always try to look for, like I said, the elements, and then getting all the wrestlers involved gave me the bonus of they could do performances and they could do stunts, and I didn't have to double them. So I got a 2-for-1, and they're all characters. So, and they loved, for them, it was a great promotional opportunity. So again, a win-win that I could bring in. And so, like I said, these elements are floating around, and then you start to see what you can muster. But I've always had a big appetite. I always take more on my plate than I can eat. And so I'm always catching up. Like, oh, damn, and I got to make sure it's like, well, with the prison, I got to a point where, well, look, this is too cool. I can't end it here. I've got to expand this action bigger because I've led the audience down here, and this is not enough. I would not be satisfied. So that changed my script. It upped the budget a bit, had to shoot more and do more effects. But again, it was like the movie started to make itself, and I had to follow that path. So yeah, it's always a struggle to get the cool and big elements in there, but there's always a price you pay. It's not like, oh, it's a piece of cake, You're going to work from 4 in the afternoon till 4 in the morning. Well, what do you think happens at 8 o'clock at night? The energy level goes, psh. So you don't get 5 or 6 straight hours of great work after 9 o'clock. You're lucky to get 2. So your shoot time is you got to shoot more days. So once again, it's like, it's a balancing act. I think from an independent filmmaker standpoint, scope is very important. If someone has an airport, has a Learjet, you can use it. It looks big. It looks like money. Hollywood have to pay a lot of money for that. But if you know the people that run it, you get it in your movie. Don't put people in a room or in the woods against a tree. Put them against something that's big and it's cool. Find the cool building to shoot in front of. Find the scope to the shot to give it an air of bigness. Figure out how to get dimension and all that stuff. And that's how you can kind of compete and
Right.
get things big. Now, of course, in Death Block, because I do visual effects, I'm like, I'll just do the visual effects later. Well, yeah, 700-800 shots later, everybody's firing guns and everything's blowing up. Now I got to sit in front of a couple of computers for 8 months and do that work. So yeah, that's the thing is, use your skills. You figure out what skills you've got that you can bring to it, what you have to pay for, what you don't have to pay for. It's a balancing act, there's never enough money in independent films, and we can't go back to the bank all the time. It just doesn't happen.